I'm in the living room today rather than the man cave because when I sat down to film in the man cave right now, the sun was right in my face. So I would have been filming like, hi, how you doing? Welcome to RC Scotsman. Somewhere around here is my car I was going to talk about. No, I don't want that. You don't want that. I've been reliably informed. Jesus doesn't want that. So, living room it is. Hello, welcome back. I'm back from offshore and this is my Gmade GS02 Komodo double cab. It is a fantastic trail truck, solid axle trail truck. Absolutely adore this thing. It has some nice features, although nothing headline grabbing that you see in some of the other newer stuff like the Axial SAX-10-3 or the Traxxas TRX-4, but some nice designs such as you see these drive shafts where they're counter rotating. They rotate in two different directions to cancel out the centrifugal force of them twisting so you don't get torque twist. Clever. Also has front bias, which is quite common nowadays, but you know, chassis layouts are better than they used to be. It has, as you see here, stealth body mounts. There are no body posts or body clips ruining the look of the truck. Just clever little key features. This one is far from standard as well. I'm running SSD beadlock wheels. I was running the Gmade beadlock wheels, but they were too heavy. I found them way too heavy when you try to climb. The weight was holding it back a bit. I know you want weight low down in a trail truck, but I don't want high rotational mass. So these are actually lightweight beadlock wheels. I'm also running SSD knuckles. So these are alloy knuckles with brass weights. The brass weights are not rotational. They just put the weight within the wheel, but they don't rotate. So that's best of both worlds. I've got a little brace here because the plastic shock mounts move a little bit. I can't do that with the front because I wouldn't be able to get the battery in and out. You can fit the SAX-10-2 alloy shock hoops, but then the panhard bar mount is slightly at the wrong height, so it changes the geometry slightly, so I don't want to do that. I'm running Gmade hardened steel drive shafts or prop shafts. It's got the HD lockers in there. I'm running stainless steel front links to again keep the weight low down forward. Got an alloy servo horn there. Got a metal in there, metal motor mount. Stop the flex from the plastic motor mount. Oh, what else have I done? What else have I done? There is more to it. I'm just having a quick think. Stuff. Fun stuff. It's running a Hobbywing 1080 ESC. Holmes Hobby Crawlmaster Sport 550 12 turn 5 slot motor, super smooth. It's got a cheapo 26 kilo I believe, 26 kilo servo. It's awesome actually. I got it from Amazon, but replaced that E-Tronics one that said it was 20 or 25 and it really wasn't, so got this one and it's been good. These are the Gmade MT 1904 tyres, not the 1903s that came with it. Same compound, but they're bigger. Because I was trying to get a bit more clearance of this bumper. It's quite a large bumper, front and rear, but especially the front. So I wanted to push it up slightly, get a bit more clearance. It means the tyres closer forward, and it's also lifts the bumper slightly. I've got this set up to be a rock crawler more than a trail truck. I've got it as an obstacle crawler. And it's brilliant. I absolutely adore this truck. This is, quite simply, my favourite RC truck. So why on earth am I selling it? I've only had it a year, and I keep my RCs for a long time, traditionally. So why am I selling it? And am I replacing it with something different? Well, yeah, no. To replace my Gmade Komodo double cab GS02, I have bought a Gmade Komodo double cab GS02F. Oh yeah. So, some of you might be thinking, why on earth, if you're going for a change, why on earth have you bought a truck which has the same name, looks identical, has the same chassis, has the same axles, and it's essentially just an evolution of what you already own? Because I don't generally get the latest and greatest stuff. I'm quite happy with what I have, rather than going, oh, there's a new one out, got to get it. And I've only owned this a year. I literally built it last year. Well, here's the thing. Gmade have been really good at listening to customer feedback. Really good at it. With the original GS01 chassis and the sawback, there were some complaints about it that they brought into later iterations. Some people said, okay, you've got this leaf sprung truck, what, a 4-link? They released a 4-link. With the GS02 came out, it was initially with the bomb. The bomb came out before the Komodo double cab. The gearbox was suspect, had a bit of a design flaw, and they addressed that quickly and sent the new owners the replacement gearbox for free, and then every other model from that point onward had a better gearbox. The GS02, they say, is a very good truck, and it's been well received. However, there are some things that have either been left behind slightly because the way that the hobby evolves and the way it progresses, things get left behind quite quickly. And also, just a little details. For example, yes, it's a forward bias truck and it's a very, very good chassis, but you can see here the battery is mounted beside the servo and it's vertical, it's upright. And the motor, although it's mounted quite far forward in that it's in front of the center line, it's also quite a tall motor mount. So because of that, it's actually quite a high center of gravity, it's quite top heavy, and it can roll over quite easily, which is why I've got the SD brass weights and the steel links to try and lower it, and the drive shafts, the hardened steel drive shaft, to try and lower that center of gravity more. So people were saying, right, this is a great truck, but what if it was less top heavy and had even more forward weight bias? Well, the GS02F, the Evolution's the same chassis. It's got the motor right next to the servo and it's lower down. The battery is mounted like it is an Element Enduro. It's basically horizontally across this way at an angle. Keep it nice and low. Right, okay, what about the shock hoops? Well, you can buy the alloy shock hoops, but you know, it's a flaw that comes with the standard one that they wobble. Well, the new one has a brace across here and a brace across here, because the battery's not here, it doesn't matter anymore. So they're braced. Gets rid of that complaint. It also has a 2-speed gearbox as standard. Now, you can get a 2-speed upgrade for this. 2-speed isn't any really of value to me. I think for me it's a bit of a gimmick, but for some people who do the trailing, this is, like I say, this is an obstacle crawler to me. For trailing, it might be more useful to other people. They've included it as standard, 2-speed gearbox. They've kept the counter-rotating drive shafts because they work really well, but they've added even more features to the truck. One of the things that's become more prevalent in recent years is overdrive. This doesn't have overdrive, the new one does. Out of the box, as standard, you have 3 options. You can change the settings. And that's yet another improvement to its crawling ability, the way it grabs the rocks and drags the back end up, following the front end. Bit of overdrive. Plastic links on this one, you can see here. Not a cost-saving measure, but a design choice, because plastic slides off of rocks. Even when it's all scarted up and scraped, like when you're using it, it slides off, whereas metal can be really a lot of friction. It will sort of hang up on the rocks a little bit easier. So they decided to go for plastic. However, as you're driving along, constantly, little vibrations, little flexes through the plastic all the time, constantly, and eventually makes it weaker, leads to fatigue, which will eventually cause a snap, but it's a long way off because they're very thick, strong bits of plastic. But more importantly, right now, these are definitely softer than when I built it last year. Definitely softer. Way more flex. So they tend to flex rather than engaging the suspension, which changes the geometry and can potentially or theoretically harm the performance. So the new one, due to feedback, they've went back to metal links, like on the original chassis. That's the GS01 chassis, I mean. So yeah, just more examples of Gmade listening to customer feedback. With the GS01, for example, the original chassis they made, there were wheels on the bottom of the skid plate to try and help it skid over rocks more. Fine in theory, but the wheels themselves were getting hung up because they sit proud, and also they get a bit gritty and a bit less free running, and they actually just cost performance. So they dropped that for the GS02. They listened to feedback. So with this new chassis, with its better links and its better drivetrain with the 2-speed and the overdrive and the better chassis layout with lower center of gravity, more front bias, how much are they charging extra for it? Nothing. I think I got this in Tay Models, this in Tay Models, the new one in Tay Models, thanks Alan. I think I paid less than I did for this one last year. The point is, they still make the GS01, the original, they still make this one, the GS02. Now they introduced the GS02F, rather than going, okay, we'll charge you a premium for the new top level kit. They bumped the price of these down. So you've got a company that responds to feedback from the customers, makes changes and doesn't charge you an extra premium for it, doesn't charge you through the nose. That's the sort of company I want to support. That's the sort of company that I want to help push them forward. I want to contribute towards them, because that doesn't happen often enough, frankly. So yes, I have bought the new one, and I'm going to paint it dark red. But not the same dark red. This one was disappointingly light to me when I first built this, first painted this. I was so disappointed. I was actually thinking about shelling out another 70 quid to do it again, because I was so disappointed in the colour. In some lights it almost looks pink. Okay, the new one, I will be doing the same dark red I did on my Team Lossy XXS touring car, because it's a beautiful colour. So hopefully it'll come out better than this. I mean, I did a perfectly good job. I just don't like the colour. I will be keeping my SSD wheels. I will be keeping my SSD knuckles and brass weights. What else will we be keeping? The electronics. Going to transfer that over. I have upgrades for this that I haven't fitted yet, such as the stainless steel links, but it will be sold with this one, because the stainless steel link kit on the new GS02 chassis, even though it's the same chassis, have 2 mil different length. So I had to buy a new kit. I mean, I could probably mix and match them, but whatever, that's fine, don't worry about it. The new one will have gubbins on the roof, gubbins, it'll look good. It'll be a slightly more detailed build than this one. So I do love this truck, but I'm getting another one, and because it's going to look basically the same, it'll be my new favourite truck. Oh, and also this one has a broken pin in the CV joint. CV drive shaft pin snapped. Thanks Scott, he was driving it, it's his fault. So there we are, my new truck. I'll be building it soon. You'll see it on the channel soon. Paints haven't arrived yet. Anyway, thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you later. Bye bye.